Alright everybody, welcome back. This past week I was actually out at the NAB show in Las Vegas, and it was, number one, it was a huge show, but number two, it was nice to, there was a lot of NAT members there, and a lot of people came by our booth, so I got to meet some of our NAT members. That was a good time. One of the things I did while I was there is we just had a constant training session running in the background in a small theater that we had at the show, and one of the techniques I showed was how to whiten teeth. So I'm going to go over that here. It went over really well at the show, and I figured I'd share it with some of you guys if you haven't seen it yet. So what we're going to do is the first thing we need to do is if you look at this gentleman's teeth, he's definitely got some yellowish teeth here, and we need to whiten them. One of the ways that we're going to go about this is a common misconception when whitening teeth is people get that term whitening in their head, and they're always trying to whiten the teeth. And really what you're trying to do is not necessarily whiten the teeth, but you're trying to remove the yellow from the teeth. So we're going to go at it with that goal in mind. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to select the teeth. There's a few ways you can do that, but I found that using a quick mask, or using the quick mask mode, is probably one of the best. So I'm going to zoom into the image here. I'm just going to click on this icon right on the bottom here. It's called Edit in Quick Mask mode. Now from here what I'll do is pick my brush tool, and I'm going to use black, and I'm going to paint over the teeth with black. So I've got my brush tool, and let me get my opacity up to 100% and select a hard edge brush for this. Alright, so now we're just going to paint over the teeth with black, and I'm going to do it pretty quick here. I don't want to spend too much time on it. And paint over. Alright, so now as you can see here, I've gone outside the edges, so what I'll do is press the X key, and that switches my foreground color to white, and I'm just going to paint over with white in the areas that I went outside of the lines of the teeth here. So let's paint over those areas with white. Getting pretty close, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we are on a web video. I don't want to take up too much of your bandwidth here, but I want to get it as close as possible so the end result looks nice. And we'll just get rid of some of that area between the teeth here. After I do this, I'm going to go over it one more time with black, just with a smaller brush. Always have your hands right on those bracket keys if you're not using a pen, and try to increase that brush size. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I've got the teeth selected. Now, what I'll do here is I'm going to go back into standard mode. So I'm going to click the bottom left icon, edit in standard mode, and that puts a selection. I'll zoom out so you can see. Puts a selection around everything else but the teeth. So I need to choose select, inverse, and that actually puts a selection around the teeth for me. So let's zoom back in so we can see them again. And from here, I want to add a hue saturation adjustment layer. So I'll choose Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue Saturation. Click on OK, and that adds a new layer. Let me move the dialog box in here. That adds a new layer to our layers palette, and we get this hue saturation dialog box here. So if you're not using adjustment layers, they're really the best way to go whenever you can use them, because they give us more flexibility and they let us get back to our image at any time, even after we save it and modify it. Alright, under Edit, I'm going to choose Yellows, and all I need to do here is just drop the saturation all the way to the left. So this was before, and this was after. You can see right there I removed a lot of the yellow from the teeth. Now I left them a little bit gray, so I'm going to go back into Master, and I'm just going to bump up this lightness a bit. And that's looking pretty good. Got some nice white teeth. I'll click on OK, and I'm pretty much done. So that's before, that's after. So it's a pretty significant change, and I think it looks a lot better. Nice thing you can do about this is if you ever find it's too much of a change, you can come in here and drop down the opacity of the adjustment layer, or you can double click the adjustment layer and you can get back into your lightness and you can adjust those values as well. And finally, since it's an adjustment layer, it puts it on a layer mask. So if I realize, let me zoom in, and if I realize, you know what, I missed some of these teeth in back here, I can just click on the adjustment layer, on that layer mask on the adjustment layer, and I can just paint with white on top of those teeth. Now, I'm not painting with white on the teeth, I'm painting with white on the layer mask here. And if I find, you know, that's a little bit too much for me, I can just click on over that and paint that back with black. And if I want to, I can go somewhere halfway in between, and I can pick myself a gray color. I can paint that, and that'll just apply a little bit of the adjustment layer. So that's it for this technique. I hope you enjoyed the effect, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks.